Good afternoon, everybody. Well, it has been a very interesting day so far for us here in the farm. I don't know if this is making a bit too much noise. Let's see if I can back out. So we got up this morning, bright and early, took Can out for a run, and was just sorting out the contracts to get the fields weeded, etc. When I got a call from stores to ask me if I'd like to pop up there this morning. They had a rep coming in and they were calling local farmers about precision farming and the possibility of getting it set up in this area. So of course I was naturally intrigued, so I thought, right, okay, so I contracted out all the work I had to do this morning, so not just the weeding but the second stage fertilisation of the grapes as well needed to be done this morning. And popped on up to the stores. They were holding a meeting. They'd called in a few local farmers. There was pretty much most of us were at the meeting. And the rep then told us about their setup for precision farming, which uses GPS, as you might have guessed. And basically, the short news of it is that they said to us, look, with precision farming we can help you maximise your yield whilst reducing your costs and therefore also, maximising your profit. So as you can imagine, we were all quite hooked at that stage. Right. The lorries parked that you just saw parked out there, you can also probably figured that that's because I've got contract to harvest field 23. So I've had lunch up at the little takeaway place, whatever, this morning with the other farmers after we finished up after the meeting. We just popped over there for a quick bite and a bit of a discussion. So, yes. So yeah, as I say, you had us hooked when we pretty much mentioned maximising yield and profits. So I will have to get my little tractor modified for a GPS system. So what we've agreed to do, because it's only a small area, so we don't want to be spending lots of money. You can see my money's gone down a bit because I've helped contribute towards setting this up. Most of us agreed that we'd quite like to try this, and so we have gone ahead and ordered the GPS sort of, I don't know what to call it exactly, but it's just a building which sort of boosts the GPS signal and holds the data, I think, for all of us. So I'm just going to cut right across here. Oh, it's okay. So I think the combine's up in this corner. So it does require us taking soil samples from our field after we've harvested. So once the soybean's harvested, I'll take some soil samples. And the equipment for that is going to be held in stores, and we will just lease it. Again, that's to help reduce our overall costs due to the fact, I've only got 2 small fields, so clearly I wasn't keen on, let's see if I've got this right, keen on having a lot of money costing me too much money. So once we've taken the soil samples, of course, they get sent off to a lab, and then we await the results. So I have to say, come in very, very quickly. And then from there, use the GPS system on the tractors for for when we're applying lime and fertiliser to make sure that we only apply what we need and no more. So in that way, you know, it shouldn't cost us. It cuts down on waste of product and waste of money as well. So yeah, so it's really good. So the building's actually going up as we speak. I don't know, I think the reps pretty much anticipated that we would agree to this, because they probably pretty much wherever they've gone, people have, you know, farmers and that have agreed to, you know, going with this. And so it pretty much had everything in there, and I think stores had already pre-ordered the stuff. They too had anticipated that it would be a really good thing to bring to the area. And so we all had our apps updated to add so that we can then see this new information, and that includes these little maps. This you can see at the moment down on the left hand side, because I've just turned this on. So this has a built-in GPS on this harvester, as most of them do. My tractor doesn't, but I'm going to rectify that. And it's telling us that we're not getting a really good yield off of this field, and I suspect that's probably due to the fact that it's got a lot of weeds in it, and it may not have had proper lime and fertilisation. So really, when you're harvesting, you want that to be up in the green area. It'll be interesting to see what I get off of my crops. I mean, my crops should be okay, but because I haven't had the soil tested, and it might be the same for this field, it may be because it's not been tested that it hasn't really, so the data might not be exactly correct at this stage, because as I say, there's not been any soil testing to give the baseline anyway. But it just shows you what sort of information is there. And when we get this full, when we're emptying this into the truck, I'll show you where, I'll show you the new information on the app so you can see. But yeah, just caveat that with the fact that given that nobody's actually yet taken soil samples, the information may not be exact. Correct. Won't be correct actually. But yeah, let's switch that off just now. So yeah, so that's the sort of data we can see while we're doing the harvest. And it gives you the whole, as I show you, it'll give you the whole full economic sort of cost. And if you use, if you contract out the work, the cost of that is factored in as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this system goes. As I say, the cost is really for getting the new building put in, to boost the GPS signal, for me to pay for the GPS system for my tractor, which I should have quite soon, and I'll just take it into my garage and I can fix it up on there. And yeah, and then I'll just lease it, and I don't think the leasing costs are that much. I think the samples, each soil sample costs something like $150, I think, if my memory serves, from what the rep says each. So you might have, in a field this size, you could have quite a few. The one thing I'm not yet sure of, because it doesn't say, is how often we have to take these soil samples, you know. I mean, I'm hoping it's not after every harvest, otherwise it will get a bit too expensive and start eating into these profits that they've promised us. But yeah, all in all, I think it's hopefully going to be a good thing. It certainly was a fascinating presentation. I mean, Stores is one of the sort of bigger places in the area to be able to hold such a meeting. And Stores will make money out of it as well. They'll have the initial payouts for the equipment, which isn't that much. It's just like a little John Deere mule, as I call it. I'm not sure what other people call it. And the soil sampling equipment on the back of that, which we'll see maybe in the next couple of days. As I say, after I've harvested the soil, I'll certainly be doing that soil sampling, using that equipment for soil sampling. So yeah, as I say, the Stores, as always, they often do with leased equipment. They buy it in and then they get their money back through leasing it to the farmers, so we don't have to spend a great deal of money ourselves on buying such things. So yeah, it wasn't what we planned this morning. I mean, and it was a bit short notice, and Stores did apologise for it being a bit short notice. I think they got the dates a bit mixed up. I think they thought that it was coming next week, and so they had intended to give us a bit of notice this week of that. However, as I say, because they got the dates mixed up, and the rep turned up this morning, and so they just very quickly phoned round the farmers and put out emails and texts, whatever, to try and get as many of us as possible to come along. And they, most farmers, as I say, local farmers, did manage to attend, and like me, they were contracting out and contracting any work they had this morning. I'd already picked up this contract. I think I mentioned yesterday I was interested in getting this contract, so I'd picked up before the phone call came in. Yep, it's fine, we've got time to do it now because we've contracted out all the rest of the work. So yeah, from what the contractor told me, they filled up the Bergman manure spreader before they went into the grapes, and I think they said, and I'll have to check this, but I think they said that one full 15,000 litre load did all of the grapes. So if that's right, that's really true, because that's a lot less than what the other spreader was using, I would think. So I was quite pleased when they said that was the case. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll have to soil sample them at some point after I harvest too. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work in the grapes, but we're going to give it a go and see what it says. And the other great thing about precision farming, of course, is I think I've already mentioned, is that I put on a manure spreader or the solid fertiliser on the back of this and run around the field. It will only add it to these areas that need it. If it doesn't need it, it won't put it on. So that's all good. Okay, we're just about full. He did a little quick demonstration on one of the small plots just near the Stores there. One of the farmers, I think, had just been harvested, and they said, yeah, go ahead and demonstrate on there. So they did show us how to take the soil samples, etc. And the data that they then got from it. They didn't do the whole shebang, because clearly they're not going to wait around for it to be ready for harvest, etc. But yeah, that's emptying out quite fast. So we've got this new little. So if we look at the map, this one, I mean, all that's pretty much the same until we get to soil composition. And where we once had fertiliser levels, we now have got this thing that says C precision farming, and the same for lime. So if we go across to the precision farming, now we're not going to get much of any data currently because there's not been any soil. I thought we would see it for that one, but maybe they've not uploaded it yet because they've not actually built the place. So that will give us nitrogen. Yeah, yield. It's showing you something in the yield, but as I say, this is possibly inaccurate because it's not got a baseline on it. And soil types, which again, until we actually sample, we won't know what they are. And it'll pH as well, so this is for lime. So if I also select that, it comes up with an economic analysis, and you can see in that it's included the price of your soil samples, and it does lime, mineral fertiliser, liquid fertiliser, manure, slurry, and cost of seeds, their fuel, cost of maintenance, and if you use what they call an AI helper, which to us is a contractor, the cost of that as well. And then it gives you yield, total costs and total earnings. Then it subtracts the total cost from the total earnings, I think, and then gives you a total of what you've made on that field. So yeah, total values since last reset. I'm not quite sure. I need to figure out what all that kind of means, but as I say, it was quite a quick, in the meeting this morning, they had quite a lot of information to cram in. I think they intended it to be a bit of a longer meeting, like doing a whole day's workshop, but because of the mix-up in the timings, that didn't happen. So yeah, it'll be interesting. So I'm quite excited now. I'm hoping soybeans probably a day or two off of getting harvested, but yeah, I'll definitely be leasing the equipment to get the soil samples done as soon as I've done so, depending on the time of day, of course, but you know what I mean. The other thing we'll look at in a minute actually is costs of, I need to look at the price of wool. I mean, the wool's just about full, and I had a look this morning before that meeting, etc., and the wool prices were really low. But it would be good to hopefully get some sold. I was hoping today, because I think it's probably going to ping, probably when I'm asleep later tonight, to say that it's full. Because that's usually what happens, isn't it? The other thing, let's see if I don't know what I'll do. If I jump out here, yeah, see it's given field info. There's not a lot of field info in it, does it? But I think, again, once you've taken your soil samples and you're up and running, then the field information that you get is a bit more detailed as well. I think it gives you nitrogen and lime data as well, just by tells you whether it's good or bad or okay. So the next time when we come to empty this, I'll have another look at prices to see if they've improved to the point where we might just nip off and go and sell some wool. The grape prices had certainly dropped significantly overnight, but we just said the red grapes we're just holding on to a bit longer till we got a better price still than what it was, but they will come back up again, as you know. Sometimes I think it's worth just waiting till I've got a couple of harvests in the silo before I sell them. It's funny how slow these harvesters are compared to my own, but it's more the header on my harvester that dictates the speed than the prototype ones, and I'm hoping the prototype ones are going to work with the precision farming. I didn't of course ask about that because I can't, because it's all hush-hush at the moment because they're not actually on the market. I mean, I'm testing, and I think there'll be other farmers who they've also got testing these headers out at the moment. But I'm hoping that it won't be long before they do come onto the market. It would have been handy actually to have sprayed these weeds off before harvesting, but well, and you might have done had possibly the meeting this morning put them back, or I'd already taken the contract by then anyway, so maybe not, maybe just didn't get time. It happens. And a lot of the farmers around here are like me, you know, they're just on their own. They just hire in contractors, like myself actually, and I get them, and depending on where we're at within our work schedule, that we can help each other out by picking up contracts. And sometimes, as I do, we pick up contracts but subcontract it to others, like farmhands that work locally in the area, and they don't work for any one farmer. They're pretty much self-employed, and they pick up more than enough work, and they're very well paid for what they do, probably better than what they would be if they were permanently employed, from what I understand from speaking to them. So yeah, it's works out good for everybody. So we'll probably get quite a bit of additional oats out of this field, what I call leftovers. However, I'm not planning on holding on to them. Mind you, I've not actually looked at what they're selling for to decide whether or not I'll try and keep back most of the leftovers for selling at a later date, because we've certainly got enough oats for our horses. So I've still got to pay for the GPS for my tractor, but I'll probably do that a bit later today. I think if myself and the other farmers, we weren't sharing the overall costs of the precision farming, it would be unlikely that I would have tried it, given that I've only really got, you know, a very small amount of fields. I've got these 2 small fields plus my grapes. I'm not sure, had they not shared the cost, it would have been worth my while to do so, because it could be quite an expensive layout. I mean, as it is, it's not exactly cheap for me now, but sharing the costs has certainly swayed me to go with it. And at the end of the day, if I decide that it's not worth it for what I have, then I'll just stop taking soil samples and just go back to the way I was doing it before. I don't anticipate that it'll come to that, but you know, we'll see. This may be very boring for you to watch, right? You're just basically listening to me waffle on about this new system. Apologies if it is. But having had the contractors do most of my other work. Yeah. Not got too much else on. And I'll also check where the grapes are going to be for their harvest in a minute. Oh, it's not a good view, is it? That's why they pull them along behind them on the roads. Okay, prices for wool. Let's check out where we've got to. Oh, 834's not bad. I've seen it better, but it's not bad. So if we need to sell the wool at that, we will. Look at the price for eggs there, 2.5. It's good. We sold them yesterday at 2.4. And if we look at grapes, yeah, it's really low for the red grapes at the moment. It is starting to come up here. We'll see where it gets to. Speaking of which, I still got that. Oh dear. Oh yeah, I can get field info in here. Right, I'm a bit confused as to, there we go. So they're dark green, so they could actually be ready later today for harvest, but I'm not sure I will harvest them. We'll see what time they're ready for. We might do the whites tonight and do reds, we'll see how it goes. But I think that for, did it again and I can't see where I'm going. But for now, I'll carry on and get this field harvested, and we'll catch you in a little bit. Okay, that is the harvest done for this field. Oh, I just looked at this truck. Yeah, think it's one I've used before. It's quite nice inside as well. Got a little sunroof there. All good. Right, so we're taking this to Johnson's Supply. I've just had a look at the price for oats there. It's actually not too bad, so I'll not be holding on to any for a later date, so we'll sell this. You may have noticed the money's gone down a bit again. That's because I've just paid for the satellite system that I'll be attaching to my tractor. I've also leased the trailer for doing the wheel, and we will get that loaded up and sold in a bit. We're just going to go with that 800 or not price. It'll do, it's good enough. Contract finished, and so what are we making? Just almost another 12,000 plus what we'll get for harvesting, which will be slightly reduced because we use their own stuff. So yeah, I'll just take this down to farm so I can go and pick up my own lorry. And then get on and sell the wool. I think I'll just park this up the side here. Close that up. There we go. So you can see the time is just after 5 in the evening. Oh, I'm in the tractor. It's better. Oh, Polly. I kind of think I put that light in the wrong place, but it is done. When I get up to the shop, I'll give the farmer a quick text to let him know the contract's finished, and so he can pick up his stuff. The money we've made from that contract has gone towards paying for quite a bit of sorting out this GPS system and precision farming stuff, so that's quite good. Here we are, trailer. You know, let's have a quick look at sheep for a second, shall we? So we're at 34 sheep, and yeah, reproduction rate's 29 hours currently. We're about to hit 35. It's not bad. But the other thing I was thinking about, let's see if I can find it. If I go to the shop actually and have a look at animal pens, I think that might be the quickest way to get through it. This is the one by the farmer company. Yeah, I thought it was 120 sheep for some reason, but it is 150. Pigs are 150 as well now. I don't know if that's changed, but anyway, it's 150, which is good. And so having coming up for about 35 sheep isn't an awful lot of sheep, but as I say, they'll carry on, and as they get more sheep in there, as you can see the reproduction rate is going down and down. And eventually it'll drop so low that I'll be getting a few sheep a day until the pen's full. I forgot to text him, didn't I? I was too busy blethering. Okay, when we're loading up the wool, I'll do it. Don't let me forget this time, aye? It's not a good thing. Yeah, I'll come round this way. Oh, crows all everywhere. Good few eggs there again. You can see the wheels nearly Stacy. It's a bit of a weird angle. Full up. I'm going to try and drive through here without running any of them over, which is easier said than done, and I'll give them a sweep up as well. But before I do any of that, let me just quickly sort out getting this contract done and getting a text off. There we go. So all in all, I mean, I think that was what, 20,000 roughly, maybe nearer, because we got what, near 12, that's 9, nearly 21,000 or so for that contract. So it's worth doing those big harvesting contracts. Just sweep this up quickly before I go and take this wool load away. What I might do is just do this load just now and leave what's there, and hopefully the next time we come to sell it we'll get a bit of a higher price rather than just selling it all at the same time as I often do. As I go past the shop here, I'll try and remember and close up the shop because it's nearly 6 o'clock, getting dark soon. There we go. When I come back in a bit, I'll definitely go and take my tractor into the garage there, our own workshop garage, and I'll start getting the GPS system attached. Save a little bit of money getting somebody else to do it. Oh. I'm not sure again. I think I'm going to have to speak to him about getting another something put here to get me turned around. But that there, as I jump out, because that'll just keep selling itself, is the GPS boosty building. I'm not quite sure what you call it. They put it up really quick. Yeah, that's still a bit soft there. I mean, it's not big, I guess, but yeah, you can see the little GPS thing on the top there, which is similar to the one I'll be putting on my tractor, I think. Okay, I'm coming for a nosy up here. So I heard there was a bit of... Oh, this one's done. I don't think there's anybody in it yet. Give a bit of a nosy. I don't think I can see through the... I've got the curtains drawn now, unfortunately. But it's quite nice. I think this is the third design that they've got. I think the architect had 3 different designs. That's not bad, 23,000 in well. And yeah, these are all... That's a shame. Can't get to see inside. Closed. It's fair enough. But yeah, so this is the architect's third sort of design of this sort of size. So they're all quite similar. I wonder if they're going to put a road, because I mean that garage is a bit tight down there. I mean it's doable. I wonder if they're going to put a road in up that way maybe? Don't know, we'll see what they do. These ones will probably not be too far behind. They'll probably just be one of this type of 3 designs put here again. I quite like the... It's hard because I like both the open air types, which is this one. This has not got a cover though. It's got a balcony, which is quite nice. And I like this one over here, but it's got a nice balcony up there and the cover. So I think that's a nice one to have. Don't want to be seen nosying too much in somebody's house. And the other thing that I'd heard, you remember how I was moaning about them not switching on, my neighbours over there, not switching off their lights. My understanding is that there was a bit of what we would call a stooshy, shall we say, misunderstanding between the people living in these houses over there as to who was responsible for switching the light on and off. And I think this one nearest us believed it would be the other household because they're much closer to the light than what they are, whereas that household thought it should be at least turn and turn about. So as a result, they made the decision to put in automated lights, which is what this one is here. So I think what they've got is just the same as this one here. So it's just on a timer. I think it just comes on when it gets dark and then goes off again. So yeah. Right, let's see if I can reverse out here now. This is not... I wonder if it... I'm going to speak to the people that are in the shop and see if we can get something. Because it's not easy coming up here with big lorry loads. But yeah. So yeah, the automated... The manual light switching's gone, quite rightly, gone over to automated. I don't know where I'm going because I actually want to drop this trailer off because we're not doing a second load today. So we're back over our $600,000 mark, which is good. And I'm looking forward to using the precision farming system once we've got the soya harvested. We'll just go get our tractor now and get it into the garage. I have a horrible feeling, I don't know if it's horrible or not, but I do certainly have a feeling that there's a possibility the grapes can become ready for harvest this evening if they're not by the time I get back. But I think we'll certainly be leaving them until tomorrow before we do the actual harvesting. And actually, we are going to test the soil on the grapes. As I say, I'm not entirely sure because of the way it's set up how well that's going to work, but we're going to have a go. And see how it turns out. There's my tractor. And there's a few things that I can reverse without too much difficulty. Right, tractor and right into our workshop. Get the light on so I can see okay. And yeah, I'll get the GPS system fixed to that, but let's have a quick look. We are about to go as well, so I just want to have a quick look. No, the grapes aren't ready yet. Good. As I say, they're not going to be far off of it. And of course I do get, see that, it needs ploughing, yeah, but of course that's not something we're going to be doing. And we never really get weeds in here, so that's also good. But yeah, we'll try and do some soil testing in here after the harvest is done and see if it's possible. It should be. I'm not saying it's going to be easy because we've got such narrow bits, but we should be able to at least have enough space to get the sampler thing down there, because I've seen it and it's quite narrow, so it should be doable. You can see the manure that the Bergman has put on there that the contractor did. He's probably done a better job than what I would normally do. But that's the other thing, we have to actually pick up some more manure because the amount that we also used up in the fields yesterday, we're down to, because we had over 100,000 litres, now we're down to 54,000 litres. So we will be getting some more of that in, probably today actually. But for now, I'm going to go and get the GPS unit put into our tractor. Oh, I better close this. Actually, I'll leave that open because I might pop up and get some manure in a bit. So, thank you everybody for watching, and hopefully you'll come back again tomorrow. You've enjoyed it enough to do so, and we'll see you later. Bye for now, everybody. Today's time is 57 degrees. Tonight, your cloud cover with a low of 30.